Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of B.S.ing Sports here on the B.S.ing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. My name is Bill. With me, as always, on our Saturday afternoon baseball talk shows is Ryan. How you doing, buddy?
I need a bounce back week here. I got that big loss that big one in the loss column, and a preliminary view at today's grid. There are teams on here, which gives me a little bit of an advantage. So.
Yeah, so I think we're just gonna Sports Addicts Network. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you, buddy. Also, anybody else who's viewing, we appreciate you. If you have not done so yet, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every single subscription matters. But yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. Ryan, you get to go first as per our rules.
I got it. Yeah. So like I said, teams on this grid, it's not just categories like it's been the last 3 Saturdays. So I am confident in this grid. Let's see. Where can I screw Bill over the most?
That's an accurate statement there. Yeah.
I'm going Greg Maddux. He'll be the most obvious pick, but at the same time, I feel like Bill just woke up from a nap, so I'm going to take advantage, and hopefully Bill's gears aren't turning as well as they should.
That is 100% accurate. Bill went a little too hard last night and needed a nap this morning. Let's see. 200 career wins and the Tigers. I got it. Oh, gross.
Good pull.
Yeah, you say that, but it's 21%. It's not a great pull.
Ken Brandt says, "What's up?" Timothy Brandt says, "Come on, Bill, LMAO. I told you yesterday when we were playing the game that he did not sound good."
Which is funny because when we started playing the game, I was only like 1 or 2 deep. But I guess not drinking for over a week does that when you decide to go hard.
Weak sauce now. Anyway, that's fine though. Second base, Detroit Tigers. This was the first name that popped to mind, and I hope it's not popular, but I feel like it will be. I'm going to pull Placido Polanco.
Oh, man, I hope that's popular.
If I can spell his name right.
Plaque, P-L-A.
Yeah, there we go. 7%. All right, we are in business. Placido Polanco, former Philadelphia Philly as well.
Guys, can you not call me out in the middle of a podcast here? Come on. I'm already doing it to myself. I don't need you guys to call me out in the middle of the podcast. Those of you not being able to watch, Tim Brandt commented, "You definitely did. Your exact words were, Bill is drunk." But again, at that point in time, I didn't feel drunk. It came much later and much, much more potent than I would have expected. But, it is what it is.
That's a good sign. That is a good sign. And sometimes you need days like that.
Yeah, and also it means I'm, detoxing because Bill was a bit of a drinker. But we're getting past that. Let's see. 200, played second base, played outfield. I don't know if that was good or bad, Tim.
Tim said your ass. So let me.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah, it says that we noticed it in your gameplay.
Did I not have more kills than either you or Tim in every other game? I feel like I did. So.
All right, just making up lies on the live stream. That's fine.
I don't know if he won a Gold Glove.
Yeah, he for sure did. I knew he was Gold Glove. I wasn't sure if he was 200 games. That's a great pull. That is a great pull. Mark Burley for Mr. 4%.
What's crazy is I thought he was a Tiger. I didn't think he was a White Sox. So that I specifically saw the Tigers and was like, oh, Mark Burley, not White Sox.
So interestingly enough, I didn't check this grid out until about 15 minutes before show start, which is fine. That's pretty normal. But I watched an entire video on this individual who played for the Tigers and played every single position in the same game. So.
Oh, yeah, I saw that video the other day, too. What was his last name?
Austin Romine.
Yeah, that's right.
Who is a catcher, so maybe I should get... Huh? Maybe I had the wrong guy.
No, Romine is the right name. Maybe because he didn't play the entire game as an outfielder?
Yeah, that would probably be it. That'd probably be it. I tried.
But no, I saw that same video, and I do agree with you. Yeah.
I tried. I failed. It's okay. You'll miss one. No worries.
I mean, 100% I will miss one, yeah. I think I'm just going to take the super obvious one here. Oh, Sandy did not win 200 games. There's my miss.
See, what most people fail to remember is Sandy Koufax did not pitch for a very long time. He had like a very good 6-year peak, but I only pitched till he was like 30.
Well, that's not cool.
Yeah, so adding to stage, jumping back. All right, we're back in this. Let's see. Which Tigers outfielder can I pick that would be rare? Got, Austin Jackson, Nick Castellanos. I wonder if Ty Cobb would be fairly rare. Al Kaline could be rare too. I'm going to go
like Al Kaline would be rare, yeah.
Austin Jackson. 4%. All right, good pull. I mean, Al Kaline and Ty Cobb are, known Tigers.
The obvious ones, yeah.
Yeah. So.
I don't know that he's done it with the Tigers. 1% on Matt B.S.ing, baby.
Nice. Good pull, good pull, good pull. 200 wins, Detroit Tigers. Let's see, second base Gold Glove. That could be an interesting one.
I have 2 players in mind.
Played second base minimum 1 game for the Dodgers. I'll go Kike for 3%. I had another name in mind, but feel like he would have been more popular.
Yeah, that checks out. Dodgers played outfield minimum 1 game. Belly probably is super. Manny Ramirez is probably super. Kemp is probably super. Let's go to Gold Glove. And 3% on Craig. Nice. I thought that was going to be a much larger number.
Yeah, I did as well. That's a pretty good pull. I mean, given how long the Gold Glove has been around, for verification purposes, the Gold Glove started in 1957. By the way, Bill, I reached out to Gucci before the show started. Maybe he still thinks it's starting at 130 today. He said your odds were plus 200, a significant drop from previous weeks. So, and you're really showing out for him right now.
I guess that Jack Morris one is hurting me a little bit, but you do have Maddox on the board, so
I'm going to go Joe Morgan, Gold Glove second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds at 6%.
Yeah, I'll take my Craig Biggio at 3 over that one.
Yeah, it looks like every point's going to matter here. I need you to miss again.
Shit. Nah, he didn't play long enough, so it had to be. Did Don Sutton pitch for the Dodgers?
There he is. Gucci says I'm out in public right now and I can't hear anything but Bill plus 200. Then he says throw the mortgage on it.
Timmy asks if Dan Uggla won a Gold Glove at second base. I don't think he did. I think he was more than that.
He did not win. Well, I think he's talking about Dodgers second base.
Okay.
I don't remember him playing for the Dodgers. I remember him playing for the Marlins. And then the Braves, but I don't remember the Dodgers.
Don Sutton, Dodgers, 200 career wins. I wasn't sure he pitched for the Dodgers.
Yeah, I was. That's a pretty good pull. Played outfield, minimum 1 game for the Dodgers, huh?
Yeah, Placido Polanco.
Dodgers outfield 1 game. Let's see. There's plenty of players that have played outfield for the Dodgers. There's Bellinger, as you said, Manny, Kemp, Kirk Gibson.
I feel like I think I maybe overthought it a little bit. I bet Manny's probably not that high because people think of him as a Red Sox, right? I bet Manny's not that high.
Yeah. He could be. I'm not gonna rip him.
I do want to know though.
But could be. Let's see. Chris Taylor's probably pretty high. It's usually where he plays. Jason Hayward be fairly high because he's fairly recent. I got a name. Trey Turner. Oh, I guess he only played center field with the Nationals.
Oh, that would have been a great pool because I don't even think of him as an outfielder.
Yeah, he played center field a couple times, but I guess it was just with the Nationals because he didn't do it with the Dodgers. All right, I'm behind the 8 ball here.
Oh, I'm going to do it, but I hope it's not for a high percentage, man. Only 3% on Manny. That's a sick pool.
Yeah, it's a very good pull.
All right, so Ryan's got 2 guesses in 4 squares. I got 2 guesses in 3 squares. Moving forward. So, Tim, Dad just posted in the family group chat. Ryan didn't get it. The photo of your child laying on his lap, and Danelle's comment is 100% correct that it's like a miniature you laying on Dad's lap.
Gold Glove played outfield 1 game. Let's see,
yeah,
Dodgers. Pressure's on, man. I gotta hit something rare too.
What year did Gold Glove come out? You said 1957. Oh, that's right. I forgot we could do that now. I got a name. It's actually a name you and I use a lot.
Yeah, I am. I'm currently looking for rarity. You know, I'm a little desperate, so I'm going through my bag of tricks here for Dodgers outfielders.
Yeah, I'm hoping if I just don't miss on the next 2 guesses, I should get a dub here.
Yeah.
Basically, if I don't miss, I think I should be okay regardless of the rarity.
Trace Thompson for 1%. Good pull. Good pull.
It's a good pull.
Klay Thompson's brother.
Here's the catch. I don't know if he for sure won a Gold Glove.
Who's
but I'm going Torrey Hunter.
Good pull.
For 3%, yeah.
Good pull.
Again, it's a name you and I use as many times as possible on the grid.
Good pull. Gold Glove outfield. This is probably the best shot that I have at getting a rare pick, right? I'm going Shane Victorino for 0.6%. All right, Bill.
Ooh.
278. I need you to mess this up. I need you to mess it up pretty bad. Actually, I don't think there's any way you can lose doing the math. Nope. You've secured a win back to back.
I still want to try and fill it out, though. I don't want to just I want to win.
Well,
I can't remember if he was a Tiger or a White Sox, but I'm pretty sure Omar Infante. For 4%, yeah. Omar Infante.
There you go. Good pull.
I didn't remember. I had his name on the tip of my tongue the entire time, and I was like, man, I can't remember if he played for the White Sox or the Tigers. And I mean, you and I do this all the time. You know that I mix those AL Central teams up constantly.
Yeah, there was only 14 pitchers who won a Gold Glove and 200 career games,
and we both got one.
A lot of them played for the Dodgers, actually.
Why does that not surprise me?
Kershaw, Maddox, Greinke, Hershiser.
Well, we are just going to edit this real quick.
Makes it 2-2. Congratulations, William.
Cha-ching. All right, let me stop sharing that screen and add a different screen. Hang on 1 second while I get technology working for me here. Boom.
Yeah, we're going to jump to the standings review.
Yes, we are. So this week I'm going to go with the AL teams. And if you were watching last week, it was a situation where we went through the standings in each division. We went back and forth. Obviously, we'll start with the West and we'll move to the East. Last week I had NL. This week I have AL. We'll go back and forth week to week. And then we'll just say something nice about one team in each division, and we'll go on from there. So again, I'll start with the AL.
Maybe you'll say something nice.
We'll say something about each team in the division.
Yeah, nobody said this had to be nice.
That's fair. So again, I'll start with the West. You got the Texas Rangers at. Sorry, let me follow along with my mouse. At 11-10, you got the Seattle Mariners at 9-10, Angels at 9-11, Oakland Athletics at 8-12, and the Houston Astros rounding out the division at 7-14. I got two teams I want to talk about real quick.
Real quick, Bill, before you start, this is the name I was thinking of that I thought would be more common than I was like Chase Utley, but it popped in my mind.
Yeah, Utley was one I wanted to stay away from as well, but I also didn't fill out that square, so one hand, right? Two teams I want to talk about real fast, super quick. More a specific individual for the Rangers. Obviously, Jack Leiter got his first MLB appearance yesterday. He got lit up in the third inning, which is unfortunate because I watched it through the second inning and he looked really, really good. But so he gets lit up. He pitches 3 2/3 innings, give up 7 earned runs or something like that. But again,
immediately option back down to AAA.
Yeah, I saw that too. But he's got a promising career ahead of him. Just because he got lit up a little bit doesn't mean that he's not going to be back up later this season. The team I actually want to talk about is the Astros, who are sitting here at 3-7 in their last 10. Their run differential, Verlander back, the hell Houston needs. Yeah, so I was about to get into it. Justin Verlander makes his debut last night on the season. He only gives up 2 runs in 6 innings of baseball. I believe he struck out 8. That little statistic might be wrong. But the big thing here, and Verlander coming back is obviously huge in this category, is the runs against versus the runs scored. They're not scoring a lot of runs, and they're giving up a bunch. Obviously a 7-14 record is indicative of that, but their 21 run differential on the negative, and that's a big deal, especially in a division with the Rangers, who are going to continue to, they're only a game above 500, but the Rangers who are going to continue to put pressure on the Astros.
Yeah, from an offensive standpoint, they've been terrible, right? But this is why, Verlander being back is going to be huge for them because their pitching has been abysmal this year, especially with Framber hurt now. They needed Verlander back. This is hopefully a step in the right direction for Houston and their fans. Personally, I don't care if they win any more games, but.
Same. All right, so NL West.
Dodgers sitting there at 12-10. You've got the Padres at 11-11. You've got the Diamondbacks a shade under 500 at 10-11. The Giants are at 9-12, and the Rockies are abysmal as predicted after getting swept by the Philadelphia Phillies. Two teams I want to talk about in this division, and it's really the top 2, right? You'd expect the Dodgers to be off to a better start, and probably the Padres as well. And two of the big reasons, or the one big reason why both teams are struggling, is the pitching, right? Same thing we talked about with Houston. The Dodgers and Padres have allowed the 6th and 7th most runs in the majors to this point, respectively. And, they're putting up runs, 110 runs scored on the season each. They can stick with the best, but the pitching needs to get better on both sides. So that's how these two teams are going to change their fortunes from being 500 or just above to having some sustained success as the season goes along. They need better pitching.
Yeah, team I want to talk. I know it's your category here, but the Diamondbacks are plus 30 in the run differential in a game under 500. That's when they're winning big, but they're also losing.
At the end of the day, it's all
right. Let's move on to the AL.
Indicator of how you're playing, but ultimately, there's 2 numbers that matter:
the win-loss column. So moving on to the AL Central, we have the Cleveland Guardians at the top of the division at 14-6. A bit of a surprise for me. The Kansas City Royals are sitting at 13-7, second in the division, only a game behind the Guardians at this point. Obviously, Brian and I talk about this every week. You're less than 10% into the season, whatever.
Yeah, at this point, mathematically, 20 games is about 1/8. So we're looking at 12.5% of the way through the season, boys.
Yeah. Tigers at 11-9, Twins at 6-12, and the White Sox, the abysmal, the worst team in baseball right now, the White Sox at 3-16. They're can you stop doing that, please? Sheesh. Their starting pitching prospect, Crochet, got lit up last night by the Philadelphia Phillies, giving up 7 runs in the first, I believe it was 4 innings. We were kind of watching while we were playing the game.
3 2/3.
But yeah, 3-16, like 3 2/3. 7 runs on 3 2/3. Sounds a lot like Jack Leiter's lineup.
This is coming off the back of him getting beat up a little bit by the Reds too. Now, as we talked about last week in our robot umps discussion, if you did not see that episode, go back on YouTube and watch it. I posted a little split of one of the at-bats from Crochet where he should have been out of the inning on 2 different pitches. Instead, he had a full count walk that extended the inning. The very next batter doubled down the line, scored 3 runs, turned 2 earned runs into 5 because an umpire missed 2 calls in the same at-bat. Batter should have been struck out. So, but things like that happen. He'll bounce back for sure. It's his first year as a starter in the organization. Bright future ahead of him. The 11th overall pick out of Tennessee a couple of years ago. He'll be fine. But yeah, he's been roughed up the last couple of starts. Yeah. And there was a comment made when I was watching one of their games that Crochet, it really stinks to watch him get roughed up because he's really their best chance every 5th day to win a baseball game. You know, one time.
Yeah, I was just about to say they got a -61 run differential. They do not score runs. They just can't score runs. And -61 is by far the worst in baseball right now. I think it's by 20 to the Rockies. Yep, it's 21 runs worse than the Rockies are right now. And I just don't have anything nice to say about the White Sox right now. So we'll move on from that. Good for you, Guardians. Good for you, Royals. NL Central.
The whole NL Central is a surprise, really, because, as we touched on last week, everybody was at 500 or above. That has changed. Now there is a team below 500. It is the St. Louis Cardinals sitting at 9-11. Then you have the Reds at 10-9. You have the Pirates at 11-9. You have the Chicago Cubs at 12-7. And you have the Milwaukee Brewers at 12-6 to round out the top of that division, up half game on the Cubs. The Pirates team I want to address real quick. Everybody in the NL Central is kind of staying close there, but they were leading this division when we last talked. And after splitting, a road series with the Phillies, which is a nice, moral victory, you can call it. But they're still 3-7 in their last 10 games. They've lost 4 games in a row. They are now on the struggle bus, kind of falling down the division. It is very early. This is still a very winnable division, but Pirates are playing more so to the tune of what I expected in the beginning of the season. And it raises the question of, when are we going to see Paul Skeens? I saw a tweet about him the other day. He hasn't pitched past the 4th. He hasn't even pitched out of the 4th inning in any of his 4 AAA starts. 50 to 60 pitches. These guys aren't even challenging him, though. He's at 12 innings, 5 hits allowed, something like 29 strikeouts. At AAA,
walks,
yeah. So he's dominating AAA, but 50 to 60 pitches an outing isn't going to cut it, right? What happens when he comes to the majors and he's asked to throw 5 or 6 innings a day? Tommy John surgery will be knocking on the door.
Yeah, when you tweeted that yesterday, I was like, man, that makes a ton of sense. But yeah. All right, let's go to the AL East, which is now the only division in baseball that has every team above 500. You got the Rays in the bottom at 11-10, with the Red Sox 11-10. The Blue Jays are 11-9. The Orioles are 12-7. The started super hot Orioles are 12-7, by the way. And the New York Yankees still top the division like they were last week when we discussed it, at 14-6. Let's go to the Orioles. They're hitting the crap out of the baseball. I know that their record is not indicative of a team that's hitting the crap out of baseball. 12-7, you're 5 games above 500. I guess it kind of is. But man, they're exciting to watch. Them and the Cincinnati Reds, to me, are 2 super, super exciting teams to watch. They're young, they're energetic, and they just want to play ball, and it's exciting to watch the Orioles and the Reds right now. It just is. For baseball, I think this is a good thing.
Yeah, Jackson Holiday has obviously had his struggles since his arrival to the majors, but I wouldn't get too discouraged about it yet. He hasn't, hardly played any games yet. I'm sure he'll figure it out, especially being in a lineup surrounded by guys like Colton Cowser and Gunnar Henderson, who are having just fantastic starts to the season. These guys are just absolutely raking the ball. Last time I checked, Cowser was hitting over 400, right? Again, 12.5% into the season. So I don't expect that number to sustain, but it makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more relaxing to go up to bat when you realize you've got good teammates around you to pick you up. So I expect Jackson Holiday to obviously develop and, keep moving forward. But yeah, a bit of a struggle for him to start his major league career. We jump into the NL East, the NL Beast. Well, not really at the bottom. So we've got Miami at 4-16. They are already 10 games back.
Yes, they are.
Washington at 8-11. You've got the Mets at 11-8. You've got the Phillies at 12-8, and you've got the Braves at 13-5. I'm just going to say something real quick about the top three teams there. So you've got winning streaks for the Braves at 5, the Phillies at 4, and the Mets at 5. The Phillies obviously coming off the sweep against the Rockies and then hammering Crochet last night, as we talked about a little bit ago. But the Mets, man, 5 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. They look like they're a little bit different of a team than when they first started out this season. They looked lifeless. They looked helpless against the Brewers to start the year.
Yeah.
They're playing a little bit better baseball right now. I don't know that they'll actually compete for the division title, as we talked about in our preseason episode. But couple of key contributors there on the bat side, pitching a little bit better all the way around. It's not any particular individual, so to speak, but yeah, they're hitting the ball. And then the Phillies, obviously, the offense finally looks like it's come to life. To score 7 runs against Rockies pitching is one thing, but then to hammer a guy like Crochet for 7 runs the next night, that's indicative that maybe your offense is going in the right direction. And then it seems like this every time, the Phillies get on a run, the Braves always got to get on a run too. We'll just never catch them.
Every time. Yeah, I mean, outside of the 7 runs that the Philadelphia Phillies scored last night, you're talking right now with those 7 runs and a shutout, 7-0 shutout. They're only 1 run above. So like their runs scored versus runs against, and they're 4 games above 500, and that's the number that matters, right?
Yeah, the run differential. But hey, man, win games. That's all that matters. Like you said. I have a very important question I want to ask you, Bill, and I want your take on this, especially as a Phillies fan. How long until it's too late to say it's early?
So are you talking about a specific individual? Are we talking about Nick Castellanos, who I'm already sick of seeing at the plate?
It's in general. It's in general. And I didn't mean directly tied to the Phillies. In general, fair. With baseball, because it's a long season, at what point, in your opinion, is it too late to say it's still early?
See, there's 162 games in baseball. You're 20 games in. I say somewhere around the 45 game marker is where you really got to be like, okay, this is the team that we are. We have to try and make adjustments to be a better team than we are. But you're 20 games in. Some guys don't play a lot in spring training. That's not the excuse for Nick Castellanos. He just appears to suck right now. But I think right around that 40 to 45 game mark is when you really sit back and you look at it and you go, okay, there's 120 games left, 115 games, whatever it is at that point. This is just the team that we are. Hypothetically, if you're the Miami Marlins and you're going in, you double their record, they're 8-32 going into game 40 or whatever it is, game 41. You sit back and you go, okay, we're not that young team that made the playoffs last year, because we're not. We are this team. This is the team that we're going to be this season. We have to find ways to try and win. But honestly, at that point, I think it's out. Now, if you're a 500 team coming around at that 40 to 45 game marker, still you need to look at it and be like, okay, are we going to finish at 81-81, or are we going to do something to be 3-4 games above 500 and possibly make a run at a wild card? So I think it's around that 40-45 game marker.
Yeah, I'm a little bit longer. There's a saying in baseball that about 150 to 200 ABs is right around, like, from a hitter's perspective, kind of indicative of what season you're going to have as far as production's concerned. So I'd say right around the 55 game mark-ish, about a third of the way through the season kind of lines up with that. That's enough time to get through your, at least ebbs and flows. You've had a couple of probably good winning streaks. You've had a couple of probably rough losing streaks. And it's really, which one have you had more of, or if you're a middle of the pack team, and you get an identity at 55, 60 games. Not to say that, your season can't go one way or another, but at that point in time, it's really where, you start to move off the preseason expectation and start to say, hey, this is the team that we are. How do we fix this team, or how do we continue to build this team? Whatever that question may be. But I think around 55 games is right around when you stop, when you kind of lose the preseason expectation and go, all right, this is the new hand we've been dealt.
Yeah. Okay. About a third of the way. I like that.
3 strikes.
Let's do this.
Okay. So for those of you that are unfamiliar, a couple weeks ago, I started this game out of the blue, started Bill off with an easy one. I am going to ask Bill a baseball question, and he is going to have to answer. And we're going to change it up a little bit to actually make it 3 strikes, so you get 3 guesses. So I will ask the question, and Bill will get to guess 1 answer. If he gets it wrong, I will bring up the first hint. He will get to guess his second answer. If he gets it wrong, I will bring up the second hint, and he gets his third guess. And if he does not get it on the third guess, 3 strikes, you're out. So, are you really ready?
No, not even a little bit, but let's do this.
So, question, who is the only pitcher since 1920 to win 200 games in a single decade? Not a 10-year span, a single decade.
Since 1920.
Yep.
200 games in a decade. You're talking 10 years, 20 games a season. All right, let me get the not right answer out of the way and say Cy Young.
Okay, well, yeah, he's definitely before 1920. So, hint 1. This player is most known for his time with the Braves.
Greg Maddux.
Hint number 2. This pitcher is left-handed. I am going to give chat a chance to answer if you do get this one wrong before I reveal the right answer. Give them about 30 seconds or so. So, chat, if you guys are watching, paying attention, listening, go ahead and get your guesses ready for the, in case Bill gets this one wrong.
Since 1920. I'm thinking way too new, and you knew I would think way too new.
I told you this was going to be tougher than the last time. You got it on the question. Made me a little upset.
Sorry, my screen is glitching out on me. I'm closing those other windows. Best known for his time on the Braves.
Yep. Who is the only pitcher since 1920 to win 200 games in a single decade? And for those of you listening, hint 1, this player is most known for his time with the Braves. Hint 2, this pitcher is left-handed. Give you 30 seconds.
Bill Negro.
Final answer.
Well, that's not
all right,
a hint.
chat.
That's an answer.
What are your guesses?
I can see the answer.
Yep. I know you could. Maybe they can't. Yeah. All right,
I'm
chat. I'll
sure
give you till the 36-minute mark of our show to get us some answers. So
that's 30 seconds from now. I was incorrect, by the way, with Phil Necro, guys.
I will start revealing bits and pieces of it. 201 games won.
Wasn't I supposed to get 3 hints? I thought it was a question, 3 hints. That's the 3 strikes.
I explicitly said in the
I thought I was supposed to get 3 hints. I'm sitting here thinking I was getting a third hint.
I'm sitting
here thinking I was getting a third hint.
Yeah, changed it. So we got 201 games won. All right, we're at the 36-minute mark. So the decade.
He spelled it wrong, but Ken Brandt got it.
1950 through 1959. And the correct answer is
Warren Spahn.
Whoa.
Again, Dad, you spelled it wrong.
Warren Spahn. Spahn insane. Pray for rain. Warren Spahn won 363 games in his career. Actually, funny enough, he had like 3 consecutive 20-win seasons after this decade, too.
That's impressive. Good for you, Warren Spahn.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. I'm 1-1 on 3 strikes. I'm 2-2 on the grid here.
I'm on a losing streak here.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Well, apparently it's right. It's right twice in 2 weeks too.
Whoop, whoop. Had to make a comeback.
So, do you have anything else you want to add before we sign out here, Bill?
Go Phils.
Go Phils. That is correct. 6:05 first pitch. Actually, real quick, let's address something Phillies-based. You know, we try to keep this show pretty neutral. But I have a question for you. What are they going to do with the rotation when Taijuan Walker inevitably comes back in the next couple days?
Well, Taijuan Walker is scheduled to pitch tomorrow, which I thought was unique, rather than letting Aaron Nola pitch on his 5th day. But Turnbull's pitching too well to pull him. You're talking
what would you do in your opinion?
I think that you could and should put Ranger Chris Sanchez, Spencer Turnbull, and Taijuan Walker on a 6-day rotation. However, Wheeler and Nola need to pitch every 5th day.
It's real funny.
That's how I would break it down. Now, having said that, the Phillies ERA right now is sitting at like 2.47. To put that in perspective, in 2011, when they had Halladay, Lee, Hamels, Oswalt, and Blanton, I think they were sitting at like 347, 20 games into the season. So for me, again, Phillies pitching is doing really, really well, but you have 72 million reasons why Taijuan Walker deserves to be in the rotation, or needs to be in the rotation, rather. And like I said, I think maybe not Ranger so much because he's pitching really well too, but Chris Sanchez, Spencer Turnbull, and Taijuan Walker, maybe those 3 guys go on a 6-day rotation, the 3 of them. And then every 5th day you go that might actually be accurate, Dad.
This is accurate. I did want to.
Okay.
I was going to wait till you were done, but yeah, Walker's final AAA start before he gets activated is tomorrow.
Okay. But yeah, so Wheeler has already come out and said, I love pitching every 5th day. I don't like the extra day off. Let me pitch every 5th day. Do it. He's your ace. Let him do it. Nola needs to pitch every 5th day too. We've seen in the past years where he has that extra day of rest where he's just not good. He's not sharp. His curveball doesn't break as much. His changeup is garbage. Let Nola pitch every 5th day. Ranger has pitched really well. He's earned his spot in the rotation as a number 3. Maybe you let him pitch every 5th day. But those other guys, Sanchez, Walker, and Turnbull, I think maybe a 6-day rotation for them would be perfectly fine.
In a perfect world, I would almost agree with you with the modified 6-man rotation, except I would only have Wheeler pitch every 5th day. I don't think Nola's earned the right yet. He hasn't been, sharp to start the season. And thinking about the long game, Wheeler's probably the only one that I would, feel comfortable allowing to pitch 200 innings this year. Nola, I know, could probably make a spot every 5th day start. And even thinking about the long game throughout the season, somebody, whether it be Turnbull or Walker, would show their hand and not particularly pitch well at some point in the stretch, and that's when they probably get moved to the bullpen. Ultimately, what's going to happen is they paid Taijuan Walker $72 million over 4 years. So
72 million reasons.
Yeah, and he's going to take Turnbull's spot in the rotation. So from that perspective, that makes a lot of sense. And I bet you it was communicated when Turnbull signed, like, hey, or once he made the team, rather, right? Because when he signed, it wasn't even guaranteed that he was going to make the
roster. It was
roster.
A minor league contract, yeah.
Yeah. So when he made the team, I bet you it was communicated, hey, you're going to be the fifth starter until Taiwan's ready to come back. And, with a guy with a career ERA well over 4, nobody expected him to pitch as well as he did. So, yes, he's pitching well, but in the grand scheme of things, there's more evidence to suggest that Turnbull is not the pitcher that he is level of pitcher he's pitching at right now. And given the contract, Walker will probably slot into that spot. But it's nice to know that, maybe you do have somebody that can go 5-6 innings if you stretch him out, if you see another injury in the rotation, that kind of thing. And maybe Turnbull just pitches better in Philadelphia than Detroit. Who knows? Which would be kind of weird because the ballpark in Detroit is much more pitcher friendly than Citizens Bank.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but no, you're right. I mean, statistically throughout their careers, obviously Turnbull has the worst stats of the two of them, Walker and Turnbull specifically. But I mean, it's hard for me to look at an outing like last night. Again, I know it's against the White Sox, but it's hard for me to look at an outing like last night and be like, you know what, you just lost your spot in the rotation because Walker's coming back next week. It's hard for me to just like inevitably say that to a guy. So I don't know, play it by ear, I suppose, but you're probably right. Wheeler is really the only one who deserves a guaranteed every fifth day start. And other than that, modified six-man rotation.
Yeah, I would play around with it a little bit, but I'm not in charge. And ultimately, the swap of sending Turnbull to the bullpen, that's actually going to be interesting too. You send Turnbull to the bullpen. Who are you sending down?
Marte or Pinto?
It's probably going to be Pinto, I would imagine. I think Pinto has options.
That makes sense. I think Marte still has 2 options as well. I could be wrong though. I mean, there was a lot of times where he was up and down, so maybe not. But I do think Marte still has one.
Yep. So, all right, Bill, calling to the Bill pen, like we did last night. Beautiful. Finish your shutout.
Thank you for joining us here on B.S.ing Sports, part of the B.S.ing Network, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. Have a good night.